I know. Record number 1,000 LGBTQ plus candidates running for office, including many from South Florida. According to the LGBTQ plus Victory Fund, there are at least 1,008 openly LGBTQ plus candidates running for public office this year, beating the previous record of 1,006 set in 2020. The candidates are also more diverse, with 100 more people of color running for office than in 2020. Here in Florida, we have many LGBTQ plus candidates for state level and national level politics, like Todd Delmay, Shevrin Jones, Adam Gentle, Janelle Perez, and Michele Rayner. The Gayest Place on planet Earth has 2 out of 3 candidates for city commission confirmed as openly gay, D'Arminio and Paul Rolli.
Add one more to the list.
We'll add you. Exactly, for mayor of Miami Beach.
I was going to ask Michael as well, Miami Beach is a changing place also, especially with the influx of people. Is there concern that the Democratic stronghold of Miami Beach is starting to have a demographic change?
I don't think so. I was actually looking at the numbers for the 2018 election, and it's interesting. About half of our voters are Democrats, approximately 23% Republican, and 27% Independent, which you don't know which way they break. I always try to assume they go 50-50. I don't really know what other assumption you can make. But the fact that there's more than twice as many Democrats as there are Republicans is telling. And even though we run in nonpartisan seats, just like in Wilton Manors, you're representing everybody, it's still, people typically want to see somebody that shares their values when it comes to social issues. When I canvass, a lot of people ask me, and what party I am. So I think we're still a Democrat stronghold. I think that's why Governor DeSantis looked for a way to tie us into Miami Gardens with the Black Democrats so he could cram us all together in one state Senate district and leave the others for the Republicans.
That's still obviously, that. That's still gerrymandering.
It is.
It's even if they're seating a seat on Miami Beach and Miami Gardens together, it's still for their purposes to gerrymander, which is just criminal to me. One of the things that I think is interesting in this story is, would many other marginalized communities celebrate out of 1,000 candidates an increase from 2020 to 2022 of 2?
No, we need more. There has to be more representation.
I know that the number is a success, but it doesn't seem celebratory to me.
No. It's flat.
No, it's
it's a small number to tout, like a big accomplishment.
Yeah, right.
And I'm going to say the statistics wrong, but go to the Victory Institute's website. But I think they quantify how much LGBTQ representation is in all levels of government, down to dog catcher. And I think it's something less than around 2%.
Yeah, I read 1.8%.
Right.
Yeah. So, and it should be, if we use our facts and figures, in the 13% range.
Much
so
higher, right.
Look how underrepresented we already are starting out just to begin with.
Yeah.
So
so I hate to Debbie Downer this story, but this is not really, in my opinion, an incredibly celebratory story.
Yeah.
And combined, we get criticism all the time about Queer News Tonight going, oh, the news. We don't make this stuff up. It's the world we're living in, and that is the reason why it's a call to action, that we need to do more.
And if anything, we can celebrate the fact that we held the line, that we didn't lose 100 or 200 candidates, that at least we held the line strong in a case where we're being attacked at such a large level. And when you look at what they're doing with the gerrymandering and everything, you have to fight twice as hard now for those 1,008 people to have a shot at the positions that maybe 4 years ago they would have had an easier time getting.
One other question I want to ask before we move on to a business story. Thank goodness.
I want to do more politics.
Is exactly that. Is what we're living through now, we have multiples of different perspectives at the table. What we're living through now in terms of representation and politics of LGBT disappointing to us, because for so long we made such progress. And we could see a very significant line from the 1990s out of AIDS and HIV, of the progress that we made politically, the change of Obama's point of view when he came in, because he was not a great ally of LGBT, and how he was changed, leading to the Supreme Court change in 2015. Are we disappointed just simply because we got used to the victories and now we're just not getting the victories in the way that we once did, and our response is in malaise, as opposed to our brothers and sisters in the 90s that said, no, we're going to fight, we're going to act up no matter what, and we've lost that desire? Do you think that that may be what's going on?
I think it's malaise, but I also think that after the last, the 4 years of the prior president, there was just this, I think it's defeatist.
That hated us.
I think it's
Hated out of
defeatist.
us.
I think that's how we feel, and we have to get revved up again. That's what it takes,
And I
whatever it
think
takes.
a lot of the wins that we had didn't come from the whole community at large. It came from individuals and groups of people that were passionate fighting. It wasn't everyone on Wilton Drive that came out and said, we want to fight for marriage equality. It was the groups and organizations like Equality Florida, the National Task Force. They're the ones that spearheaded that. Now we need everyone to vote to be able to keep these people in power so we can hold the line or gain, or whatever you want to call it. And I think that's a big difference.
It's also scary because a lot of our liberties have come through the Supreme Court rulings that have extended gay marriage and other basic rights that we have. And now with what's happening with women's reproductive rights, the great fear is, what's next? Is it gay marriage? And I think people are starting to understand the danger, not only in voting for a candidate and their own policies, but the type of people that they're going to appoint to the Supreme Court and to the other federal courts, and the long-term effects that we're seeing that's going to take a while for us to get past.
And Al, you said something before about, I think we need to get people to understand that just because they're not in my district doesn't mean they don't make a difference. It's that whole idea of community, that we all have to stand up for each other and be there in a force, because it does, every single thing affects each one of us. Whether it's equal rights, whether it's HIV, whether it's women's rights, every one of those decisions.
A perfect example of that, no, we do have to wrap up, but a perfect example of that is Michele Rayner Goolsbee. Michele Rayner Goolsbee was going to run, and was running for U.S. Congress until the redistricting in Florida took place for the congressional district. They split her district. Governor Ron DeSantis split her district intentionally out of Pinellas County to make it Cross Bay. And so a very significant Black population and other ally support that she enjoyed in her House seat in Pinellas County was then changed into adding Hillsborough County, just exactly like what happened to Guillermo Smith, making it, his is a toss-up fight. Hers became untenable. The addition of the voting base, of the neighborhoods and the portions of community in Hillsborough County made it, according to her, impossible for her to win the congressional seat. So she withdraws, and she's running for the House seat, and we hope that she is returned to the state House. But we needed her in Congress. We needed that seat in Congress. And she is in a seat that represents Charlie Crist's seat running for governor. And his seat may not hold as a Democratic seat in Congress because of the gerrymandering that took place. That affects all of us. I don't live in Pinellas County, but it affects me because we needed that seat to vote for an Equality Act, or to vote for respect for marriage, or to vote for whatever the issue is in Congress. It affects all of us. And we can't myopically approach this from the standpoint of, if it doesn't happen on Wilton Drive, I really don't care about it. We can't think that way, in my opinion, anymore. LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.